Hello and welcome to the beautiful Trerice in Cornwall as we continue our search to find Britain and Ireland's most outstanding artistic talent. And we're taking on the British weather as we head outside.
8 of the country's best amateur and professional artists are about to tackle one of Trerice's most outstanding views in just 4 hours.
But with 3 judges to impress, who will secure a place in the semi-final? This is Sky Arts Landscape Artist of the Year.
This year, we've teamed up with the National Trust to search the country for a new exciting landscape artist.
From 1,000 entries, only the most talented have been invited to paint a selection of beautiful properties.
I like trees very much, so I think I'm probably going to look at these trees and have fun with them.
All with one goal, to win a £10,000 commission to paint Flatford in Suffolk, made famous by Constable himself. The winner's work will become part of its permanent collection.
This engages a whole different part of your brain, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The whole right side is on fire now.
Today, 8 hopefuls have come to Trerice to showcase their talent.
I know that the painting's finished when everything's covered.
And not just for the judges. Ex-head gardener Barry Champion and his wife Lynn have dedicated their working lives to Trerice. And as a thank you, they'll get to choose their favourite painting to keep.
The oak there has got a branch cut off. I cut that. My chainsaw.
But that's not all. 50 more artists from all over the British Isles are here to try their luck as a wild card.
Oh, wow!
Using a variety of mediums.
This is cow manure.
Yes, fresh cow manure from this morning.
Where did you get the cow?
They'll have to win over judges Kate Bryan, Ty Shan-Sheerenberg and Kathleen Soriano.
I think I'd eat my words.
To claim a place in the semi-final.
Are you a sufferer with nerves?
A little bit.
Because you have an enormous bucket. I wondered if that's in case you're overcome with nausea. Eight artists, a mix of amateur and professional, have travelled from all over the country to impress the judges. The professional artists are Amric Vakalis, Christopher Aggs, Emma Copley, Rosie Hewitt, Grant Wood, Peter Matthews and Elizabeth Cowley.
I've not finished a piece of artwork in 4 hours ever before, so it'll be a race against time.
And today, there's only one amateur artist, Ivan Daly.
I'm feeling kind of confident. A little bit of nerves, but I think I can do pretty well today.
The artists had to submit a digital copy of one of their best landscapes for the judges to evaluate. So until now, they haven't seen the real thing. And for me, it's time for an honest confession. You know what I really love more than anything in the world?
West Bromwich Albion?
No, well, it's when we walk down the wall and we look at the artists' paintings that they submitted and you talk about it. I think it's brilliant. Shall we do it?
Pressure on us. Okay,
No.
we'll try to entertain you.
Really, I love it.
Well, what I particularly like about this one is I was in Greece last year and there's iron in the rocks on the island I was, and it looks interesting, like it started to leak out of the picture.
I love those dripping clouds in the background.
Well, there's a real sense of the weather, I think.
Yeah.
If it stays grey, they are going to have a field day.
Yeah. Can I ask one of my stupid questions? This is definitely a landscape. Is that defined because it's outdoors? This is almost a still life to me. It's all about the boat, really.
I'm not so sure that the definitions between still life and landscape actually matter that much. I think, in a way, you're right. It is about being outdoors. I think trying to define them into different types isn't important.
I mean, it's a very common subject, isn't it, a boat? But in this case, I think what makes it really sing is that light that's sort of, as the waters are receded and it reflects on the shadow side of the boat. It's very sort of atmospheric.
This looks a bit like a paint by numbers.
Ah. This stylisation is kind of interesting.
I think this is someone that could come to the landscape today and surprise us.
I think you're right. I can see today's landscape in this style, so it's going to be great.
We were being really maverick when we saw this one. We fell in love with I think it was the intellectual approach, the sort of mind mapping of the landscape through text and that sense of the mountains in the background. I know you're going to think it's not a landscape, but we were completely seduced by it.
Can I tell you, you guys are assuming I don't. I love this. The landscape for me is all about looking at weird maps and stuff and trying to work them out. And this is like, it's got all that strangeness and all that hostility that I associate with being lost.
He was in the sea when he did this, so this would have been pinned to a board as he worked on it.
I think this is fantastic. I don't know what they can do today with it, but I'd love this on my wall.
Today's artists have a choice of painting. The view of Trerice House, originally bought by Leonard Cunliffe, a former director of the Bank of England, or out towards the River Fal estuary.
Whichever vista they choose to capture, they've all brought essential bits of kit.
This palette I've had since I studied in Florence. It's traveled. It's like an old guitar case, I guess, for a guitar player.
My tools are paintbrushes, and I've had this palette knife, I guess, for a long time, and this palette scraper. They're special to me. They're not very pretty, but they are.
Well, I got a lucky charm. Never travel without a banjo. Because I don't feel at home with this. I've got, if I get too far from a banjo, then life could go pear-shaped.
Passionate banjo player and retired lecturer Christopher Aggs is from Ashington in West Sussex. His submission painting is a view from his studio, which includes his neighbour's camper van and a subject he enjoys painting and that Trerice has in abundance.
I like trees very much, so I think I'm probably going to look at these trees and have fun with them.
Artists, we hope the weather's going to hold for you because your challenge is about to begin.
You have 4 hours to complete your work, so good luck. And your time starts now. Most of our artists are used to painting en plein air, or in other words, outside. And for one, marrying Mother Nature with his canvas takes on a whole new meaning.
This is cow manure.
Yes, fresh cow manure from this morning.
Where did you get the cow?
I was tracking a cow walking down the field here.
Actually, that's very liquid, isn't it? What kind of colour will they give you?
Well, I'm not sure,
It's quite nice,
Joan.
isn't it?
It's a lovely, rich colour,
indeed.
isn't it? Yeah.
Peter Matthews is from Leicestershire. For his submission, he fixed a piece of paper onto a floating board and stood in the Atlantic for 9 hours, noting down the experience with expressive markings and words. As a conceptual artist, he uses all his senses to create his pieces.
Oh, what's that dust? Are you smoking?
It's a resin from a tree in North Mexico, copal.
Are we getting high here?
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. So what does it do?
Well,
It's nice, isn't it?
It's a lovely way to connect with the land through the smell. And what I'm hoping for today, Joan, is a visceral approach to exploring the landscape rather than just looking at it.
God, you've already got a photograph of grid.
Yes.
You look like someone in your office.
Yeah,
So,
no. I tend to work in my bedroom a lot, so this is my setup usually for doing drawings. So
I'll tell you what,
just trying to feel at home.
Elizabeth Cowley is from Lost Withel, Cornwall. Her landscape is of Logan Rock near Plein, a place where she used to go camping with her family as a child. Before undertaking a degree in illustration, she considered a career in mathematics. I read that you actually think mathematics can be applied to art.
Oh, definitely. The thing about this view is there's a human impact on this. So mathematics has been used in this building. So I will be using mathematics in this, but all around it is nature. So it's going to be a mixture of the both, I think.
Are you a sufferer with nerves?
A little bit.
Because you have an enormous bucket here, which I wondered if that's in case you're overcome with nausea.
No, the team gave me that for pencil sharpenings. So
that's for pencil sharpenings.
For pencil sharpenings.
How big is your pencil?
Usually I spend a lot more than 4 hours on a painting. You know, more in the realm of 20. So this will be a challenge for sure.
Emma Copley lives in Cambridge. Having studied at the Rhode Island School of Design, she went on to work at Boston Museum of Fine Art and Tate Britain. Her landscape is of Petersburg Pass in upstate New York and captures the moment a storm cloud rode in from the Hudson Valley.
You've already sort of set quite a sort of up-in-your-face composition you've got there. You're right in amongst the trees.
I'm very interested in the dark trees back in the distance in there, all the tangles of branches. That's really a challenge to draw, so that's fun.
So it's got to be a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
It can't just be something that you think, oh, I can do that, and I can make that look.
No, there has to be a bit of a challenge or I can't really do it.
So even today, when you know it's a competition, you're not going to take an easy route. You're going to make it hard for yourself.
No, but like I said, I think if I did take an easy route, it wouldn't look as good, I don't think. It didn't have a bit of complexity in there.
This year there is a new element to the competition. 50 other artists have descended on Trerice to try their hand as a wild card. If they impress enough, one could find themselves in the semi-final.
This is the first time I've ever painted outside, so it'll be interesting.
And they're not leaving anything to chance.
I brought acrylics, oils, watercolours, pastels, everything, you know.
By the time I loaded my car up, I looked at it and I thought, wow, I've just transported my whole studio into the car. So here it is.
They're even prepared to protect themselves from the elements.
Just a bit of wind precaution. Heavy showers this afternoon, apparently.
Yeah, thunder maybe, lightning.
Thunder. Rain, sleet, snow,
so you never
hail.
know. Everybody's going to be falling into our little tent.
You two just met today.
Bizarrely.
But you've got kids at the same school.
Yeah, yeah. And this lady lives about 5 minutes up the road.
Oh, hello. How you doing? We could have saved you all a lot of journey and just come to your place. Well, good luck. How lovely being over. It's like being on Loose Women. Battling it out for a definite place in the semi-final, our 8 heat artists are already 1 hour into their 4-hour challenge.
It's a little bit chaotic still. A bit of chaos. It's quite creative sometimes.
I think there's always a period of being lost, and then you find yourself, so feeling good.
I'm a little bit behind schedule, but it'll be fine. I can't stress in the first hour, else I've got no chance by the end.
At Trerice in Cornwall, our 8 artists are battling the British weather and each other for a place in the semi-final. And they're just over an hour into their challenge.
Grant on behind you, don't do anything too flamboyant.
I'll try not to.
I tell you what, it's so uplifting to see a proper palette with a thumb coming through it and big chunks of paint. Originally from Chattanooga, Grant Wood now lives with his wife in New Romney, Kent. The abandoned and rotting fishing boats in his landscape were discovered after talking to local fishermen at Rye Harbour. I was kind of fascinated that you used to be an artist's apprentice.
I was, yes.
What do they do?
You just stretch canvases, sweep the floors.
You literally swept the floors and stuff?
Yes, yeah. But also, in turn of, basically a education.
It sounds so great, living art like that, doing all the dirty stuff, and in the meantime, like the Sorcerer's Apprentice, gaining your own skills and your own art. I don't normally get this close. Not only does it look good, but it actually smells pretty good too.
It does, doesn't it?
I feel happy being here, so I'm going to hopefully create a very happy painting.
Amrit Varkalis lives in Huddersfield. Born in the Punjab, she moved to the UK as a child and went on to study textiles at Art College in Manchester. Her submission was painted after a long walk through a local village called Marsden.
Is colour for you something which is part of your cultural heritage?
I think the colour comes from inside me.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that's quite intuitive. I think it's sort of balancing the wealth of heritage and also the wealth of British landscape.
Yeah.
I don't want to suddenly create a painting that doesn't resemble this.
Yeah.
I do want it to...
No, and there's certainly likeness there. Well, it's fascinating watching you navigate all those different ideas and find your way through the landscape.
Of today's 8, only 1 is an amateur artist.
So are you painting much of your time?
Mostly it's in my spare time. I work as a full-time job in a medical device company in Shannon, County Clare.
Right.
It's not as creative, but...
This engages a whole different part of your brain, doesn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. The whole right side is on fire now at the moment, so...
Ivan Daly is from Newmarket-on-Fergus in County Clare. He studied fine art and printmaking at Limerick School of Art and Design. The rugged rocks in his painting are part of the Burren coastline near Doolin, a place he and his wife like to visit in their camper van.
Have you been practicing?
I have. I've been practicing outside, especially.
Is painting in the open air just different from painting in a studio?
In a studio, if you're painting for photographs, for example, there isn't quite the same satisfaction when, of achieving the colours as such. When you're painting from life, you can really get the colour as close as you possibly can. Plus, you have, beyond the photograph, you have so much more around you than what you take as a photograph. So, yeah, it is freeing in that sense.
Being just 1 mile from the English Channel, weather at Trerice changes rapidly and frequently.
This weather's wild.
It's just crazy, Jane. I mean, this morning we've had rain, the clouds have parted, we've had a bit of sunshine, but it's part of the elemental feeling of this place. It's a fantastic location.
It's a wonderful location, isn't it? But it's an enormous challenge for an artist, setting up an easel in a location like this.
It's a lot of landscape, but of course, the editing of the landscape as the light changes is difficult, but that's what makes painting plein air exciting.
We do have these pots, but unfortunately the wind and the rain is blowing straight into mine. I don't mind it, it's quite exhilarating in the one way.
Rosie Hewitt is from Walberton in West Sussex. A self-taught landscape painter, she likes to find the beauty in every scene. Her oil painting captures the reflections of the reeds in the River Arun on a summer's day.
You know what I like about the first thing I look that I really feel? I can feel the wind in it. No, but
I can feel that too.
But not everyone has got that.
Oh.
Those trees are wind affected. It feels like the day feels.
Good.
What are you listening to? Is it?
Joni Mitchell.
Yeah, that's why, you see, it's got that slightly broken melancholy about it, this picture, I think.
With a possible place in the semi-final at stake, the wildcards are trying to impress the judges in spite of what the weather throws at them.
The canvas blew off my easel, the umbrella blew on top of it, and it's sort of ruined, but, you know, it's good experience.
Do you want to come onto my brolly?
Very kind of you.
We started off not being able to see anything, and then it all became clear, and now it's all gone away again. But it's good fun.
I'm so impressed by these artists. This is not an easy day to paint. And actually, there's some brilliant, brilliant paintings. There's one girl that started with this very dark background and has got all this pink running through it. It's very sublime.
It's normally lovely and sunny when I venture out to paint. And I usually use watercolours, and oils are not happy in the rain.
sky looks quite blue compared to that.
Yeah.
Are you hoping it might get blue?
No.
We all are.
These are the Cornish colours.
Are you Cornish?
I am.
You don't think it's in your soul a bit because you live around here?
A little bit, but I think wherever I go, I can paint this good, so I'm not really bothered.
Okay. I love your confidence.
Thank you.
You had to be confident in this, didn't you? No,
Yes,
you wouldn't see
yes,
anyone
this
in
is
a
my-
pink
this is
waterproof
my-
smock that wasn't confident.
Oh, whoa!
7 of our heat artists are using oils or acrylic in their work, but Liz has discovered a new way of using an old school favourite.
What is that? Is that ink?
Yeah, it's this quink ink, and it's a black ink that separates into its blue and orange parts, and I've found ways to bring out the blue more or bring out the orange more. So I'm putting in the trees in the background, some fine line detail. It's really black at the minute, but when I wash it over with water, the blues will come out in it and it'll look further in the background than it is at the minute.
Our artists are nearly halfway through their challenge.
I don't really know if I'm on schedule or not, but I know that the painting's finished when everything's covered.
Yeah, I'm feeling the pressure now a little bit. Definitely.
Have you painted landscape plein air before?
I have before for fun, yeah. But usually my finished stuff I do in the studio.
I think I'm going to eat my words. I've been looking at Emma, who I felt sort of painted rather like a paint by numbers.
Yeah, which you said twice.
Yeah, and it turns out that she's nothing of the kind. It's a far more sort of sophisticated approach. It looks like it could be quite exciting.
At Trerice House on the Cornish coast, our artists are into the 3rd hour of painting, and the judges have been keenly observing progress.
Well, we're halfway through. The weather hasn't improved very much. At least it's not raining. But I want you to give me a rundown on what you think so far. Kate, let's start with Peter.
Peter, well, he's certainly a very interesting character. I think I'm waiting for him really to kind of come into his stride.
I was a bit disappointed. You know, we really liked what he had entered with. I think he's overwhelmed by the landscape.
Liz, very painstaking.
And very well organised. I mean, she really has a plan of action.
And what was so clever about her submission is that there was a little touch of warmth, a little sense of spirit of place. And, you know, I really hope that she'll be able to do that here.
The sky, I think, is finished, and I did think it caught today's weather very well. Grant, what do you think so far?
It's, again, in a traditional manner, it's a very, very well-constructed painting, but it's got a bit more dynamism.
It's very expressionistic, you know, he's using all these colours, the composition is finding itself through the paint.
I just want to see that little bit extra by the time we come to judge.
Well, we've got time.
Emma, she's one of the few artists I've watched when she actually paints. She paints in a very considered way, and the marks are slow. Hers are the most interesting colours for me today.
You are in a dilemma here, aren't you? Because here is a landscape with so many elements. Do you want an impressionistic version of them or even a conceptual version of them? You're going to have to decide.
Used to working with just black ink, Liz has chosen to use today's competition to try something new.
I'm just about to put my my green layer, my first green layer on. I don't usually use colour in my works. We'll see how this goes. It's always a bit nerve-wracking because once it dries, you can't really go back on it very easily.
So windy. It's loud. It's kind of scary. It's making me paint faster, definitely.
the end of this, am I going to be able to look at this and I'm going to see that it's what you see out there?
No, I don't believe you will. You may pick out fragments like I am, because what I see is quite disjointed.
And what about the writing?
Well, the writing is a way for me to anchor myself in what I'm seeing.
So it's a kind of a journal as well as a...
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. You know, I'm interested in the inner landscape as well as what's happening out there, you know. And as we navigate out there, we navigate through our inner landscape.
Not only are today's artists spoilt by the abundance of exotic plants and trees within the garden itself, they also have the dramatic views across the foul estuary to inspire them.
Most gardens are created with internal vistas, so you create a vista within the garden, but at Trerice we're a little bit different in that we have several external vistas taking in the landscape outside of the property.
The water surrounding Trerice creates a fantastic environment for growing lots of subtropical and tender plants because the water insulates the garden. People talk about climate, but that's quite deceptive, really. A garden like this is a series of microclimates.
And it's this particular climate and atmosphere that's been drawing artists to Trerice for over 200 years.
The whole of this area is an extraordinary inspiration to artists. You have this wonderful moisture-laden wind being brought in, and that gives a very diverse and diffusive quality to the light here. So things spread and glow.
Offering a snapshot into Trerice's past is a 19th century romantic painting by Thomas Lyde Hornbrook.
It's a reflection of how landscape was viewed at that time, almost as an Arcadian landscape. Perhaps the hill isn't quite that steep. Maybe the house isn't exactly in the right place. Maybe the trees are not quite as wizened and twisted. So there's a story being told.
The view from the river is recorded in a simple pencil sketch of 1826 by naval officer George Trevelyan. It has only recently come to light after being discovered in a second-hand bookshop.
It struck me immediately that it looked like the sort of drawing that young naval lieutenants were taught to draw. I think for observation purposes, there's much more attention to the trees, the shape of the riverbank, and the house is almost a sort of afterthought.
But with the house being such an iconic mark on the landscape, how will the work of today's artists compare with those of the past?
If I wanted a painting to remind me of the property, if we could take the artist back to 1826 and had the view of the mansion with the portico, that's what it would be.
And Barry and his wife Lynn, who have both dedicated their working lives to Trerice, will get their favourite of today's paintings to keep.
So how long have you two been associated with this fabulous place?
36 years.
36 years, yeah.
So you were born here?
Almost.
Yeah. So you were the head gardener. What was your role in all this, Lynn?
Well, I was Barry's secretary, and I've also worked for the National Trust as well.
So I can't imagine what it's like being the head gardener at a place this big.
There was myself and 3 gardeners, and we looked after 376 acres.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you had a team of 200 or something like that.
3.
It's in your blood, isn't it?
Yeah.
The place.
Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah.
So today you are going to choose a painting.
Yeah, we got a space for it. Yeah,
and I love the idea of you having some sort of representation put together by one of our marvellous artists. No, I'm looking for a new secretary.
All right, yeah, I'm available.
Please.
I can start Monday.
A day of painting in the ever-changing weather is almost over for the wild cards. Before they pick their winner, the judges take one last look.
I love the way you've picked up the colour in the bushes.
I like the verticals and the framing of the trees here, and then with the splash of colour.
Are you pleased with the result?
I feel OK about it. That's probably as good as I can say.
Yeah, good.
You know, I walk around an art gallery, I see a painting, and I think, I wish that you were allowed to touch them. Because there's something very
tactile about it. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm quite envious of you just.
Well, now's the
shoving your
time if
hand
you
in
want to
it.
put your.
Well, the trouble is, if it turned out to be a winner, I'd feel I'd help to.
It's been really interesting. I've tried not to look at other people too much because I'm a bit intimidated. There's such like a high standard here.
The judges have to decide on one artist to put through to the pool of wildcards from across the heats, from which one will make it to the semi-final.
Hi, Robert. You're busy tidying away. I'm delighted to tell you that you've won today. You're our wildcard artist winner.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Even though our 8 artists are up against each other, members of their families have joined together in support.
Seeing all the different approaches to the work, I think that's what's so wonderful about putting artists together like this. There's something really lovely about seeing the way other people see the world and how they then express things through their hands. I think it's lovely.
I'm so used to seeing him painting in the studio. I was wondering how he would manage with all the people around, but he seems to be lovely. I'm way more nervous than he is, definitely.
Exactly.
I'm way more nervous.
There are just 30 minutes of the challenge remaining.
Half an hour to go.
Yeah.
What are the priorities?
I want to make more of these dark trees over here.
Keep going.
Yeah,
These marks that you're making now are going to make a big difference. It
I
just
hope
goes
so.
to show that
Yeah.
every moment counts.
Yeah.
Now, this is very vigorous. Are you pleased with it?
I've had fun with it. I think I'll have to push to finish it, but...
And don't overdo it.
No, exactly, yes.
I'd like to get some more depth in, so adding some more dark layers to come through, and then I'm going to work 2 different tones in with a hairdryer in between, and hopefully that will make it work. It's a bit up against it at the minute.
Here at Trerice in Cornwall, our artists are in the closing minutes of today's challenge.
I don't have time to do any more layers, so and I want to get some more tone in, so I'm just getting this done and then seeing how much time I've got left to see if I can finish it off to how I want it to do.
Just wondering what to finish now at the moment. Hopefully the judges will like it, so fingers crossed.
I am feeling stressed out because I have to decide what to do, and it's very difficult because there's a lot I could do.
And I'm trying to complete, well, not complete, but to add a bit of depth to the painting in terms of its relationship with time and place.
Artists, your time is up.
Please put down your equipment and stand back from your easels. Well done, everybody.
After 36 years of service to Trerice, former head gardener Barry Champion and his wife Lynn are first to see the finished works and will choose one as a reward for their dedication.
Lovely colours.
Now, you mentioned colour.
This is very vibrant, isn't it?
It's really in your face. Wonderful. Really good. Excellent. Yeah, thank you.
Entirely different in style.
Oh, my goodness. That's caught the house beautifully.
The oak there has got a branch cut off. I cut that. My chainsaw. Going to be difficult to select one out of the 8, isn't it?
Which do you think would give you most pleasure as reflecting the place you know?
Yeah.
This
yeah.
one?
This one here,
This is the one?
Yeah.
So thank Thank you, it's lovely. It's lovely. They were all lovely, but that is just how it looks. Just beautiful.
While the artists head off to get warm, the judges move to the calm of the solarium to look at the work produced today.
I still don't know what I'm supposed to think of this. And I just feel really frustrated because he was an artist that I just felt was so distinctive and unique.
I enjoyed the performance side of it. It was a performative art piece.
He's open to the elements, and I thought that was quite beautiful. But what he's made out of it is not a sum of all those things.
I found the day challenging, the time restraints. Most of all, challenging to be yourself. To be yourself.
I love this one.
Yeah, and I love this one. I was really impressed with the fact that she hadn't really used green before, and she hadn't really painted trees before. But out of all of the trees that we've had today, I find them incredibly believable. And I love that scratchiness of the blue inky trees in the distance.
It was an experience that I don't think I'll forget. I didn't think that I realised how much stress I'd actually end up being under coming the last hour.
I really enjoyed watching Grant paint this.
I think it's great.
You know, this is what my afternoon was like in parts. You know, I was like, what is this weather? You know, I really felt completely kind of in with the elements, and that's what he's made me feel here.
I'm feeling good, actually, because about halfway through the painting, I wasn't really that confident in the way that it was going, and I think that it turned out better than I expected.
I thought, as I looked out over these huge vistas, you know, and my eye caught the little dark, dank places, I thought she caught the sort of sodden, rather mysterious undergrowth rather well.
And it's very lickable, all those paints, and oily. And so you move around it rather beautifully.
I think out of everyone, she's bitten off just about the right amount that she can chew.
I don't feel like I've had a chance to even look at the painting yet, so I just finished it, but I was standing at a distance from it, and I'm pretty happy with where I got in 4 hours.
I've never had an experience quite where I've been changing my mind so much. There's so many good little bits of painting here.
The ones that appeal are the ones where the artist has understood how to edit it down.
Yeah. To help decide who goes through to the semi-final, the judges first reduce 8 to 3.
The first of those artists is Liz Cowley.
And the second artist is Grant Wood.
And the third artist to be shortlisted is Emma Copley.
Commiserations to all the artists who didn't quite make it, but it was a tremendous effort. Well done.
I think the whole experience of just being here is plenty for me today.
Obviously, slightly disappointed, but I do respect the decision, and I think I'm quite happy with that.
Before they settle on who makes it through, the judges talk to Liz, Grant and Emma about their original submissions and today's work.
Liz, the way you've painted these trees behind the house, these beautiful spindly blues, it's utterly inspired. I just love it. But actually, it's not really so much a painting about the trees, it's actually the house. That's the main component of it. Did you know quite early on that you wanted to include it and let it be such a presence?
Yeah, definitely. It's, I mean, it's a beautiful house. It's one of my favourite in Cornwall, I think. surprised that they picked me, to be honest, and yeah, and I'm really glad that the pieces that I made resonated with them and that they were interested in them.
I'm curious as to why you chose this particular subject matter for your submission.
It's one of my most favourite subjects to paint, and I thought that it showed a nice variety of approaches to different textures.
From your perspective, would you do more to this painting, or are you satisfied with it?
I would be satisfied with it in the state that it's in now, because I think it has a pretty fresh sense of the day and the space. I think it's a toss-up, but I mean, I think between the three of us, it'll be fair ground.
This one is, I find, much more evolved. They feel different.
I mostly was trying to evoke a feeling. That was my goal for the 4 hours, is to get some kind of feeling. That was pretty exciting for me, to realize in 4 hours I could do something that I'm quite happy with. The other two artists' work is fantastic, and I'm really chuffed to be part of the group of 3.
Esteemed judges, I am in a complete tizzy, because for the first time ever, I totally agree with your 3 choices.
Just change them.
But I must say, and now I feel obviously a certain empathy with you, I am finding picking the actual winner a bit more difficult.
I keep on coming in and out with regards to which one I think is the winner.
Is judging a democracy? Is it 2 to 1? Or how does it work?
We try to be unanimous.
I think that's actually what's lovely, is you come to a painting through the eyes of someone else who's seen a whole catalogue of paintings you've never seen, and they bring their experience and their perspective. It's left me in a position, though, where I am really struggling to know who my winner is.
Talking to them also throws a whole different thing into where you're saying, God, you're very authoritative and know exactly what you're talking about, and that's thrown me off a bit as well.
Do you feel you have your winner now?
80% sure, is that?
Yeah,
I'm 80% sure.
I'm 80% sure, but if I'm going to just turn around in a minute and I'll probably change my mind again. But I think that's just because we've had such a fantastic day. There's just some really interesting paintings.
Good luck.
OK, get on with it. Liz, Grant, Emma, congratulations to each of you for reaching the shortlist, and the work of each one of you has really impressed the judges, which means, of course, it's been very difficult for them to decide.
But they have decided, and the judges felt that the artist they have chosen to go through to the semi-final has displayed an ability to capture the spirit of the place and has showed a capacity for innovation. And that person is... Emma Copley.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
To win is just amazing. I'm shocked.
Tough decision, and that's a lovely work.
It would have been nice to have gone to the semi-finals, but I don't know if my nerves would have made it. I don't think I would have held up.
It was hard fought, I tell you.
I love Grant's boat. I loved the grass in Emma's her piece she submitted, so it could have been either one of them. I didn't think it was me, but it could have been either one of them, I think.
You look so shocked.
I genuinely am. Thank you.
Really good.
I'm just really, really pleased. I got a real confidence boost today in my painting.